Okay. So the previous two speakers talked about hyperdimensional vector. So this work is actually about how to implement the hyperdimensional computing on a special memory. And also during the presentation, if I say we, actually I mean the authors group. The previous speaker already talked about several fundamental operations on hyperdimensional vector computing. So that's binding. Binding basically is an element-wise XOR among n hypervectors. And the permutation basically is a circular shift to generate a new hypervector or subnode to original hypervector. And bundling basically means it's a element-wise majority operation, and it tries to combine again a set of hypervectors together. And finally, similarity check is to check the Hamming distance between two hypervectors. The smaller Hamming distance means the more similar they are to each other. And basically, in this work, we talk about the language recognition application. So we have 22 European languages, all based on the same alphabet system from A to Z, plus empty space. So totally 27 characters. And the goal is to for a given input text, try to identify which language it belongs to. So for the incoming text, we first divide it into n-grams, basically a substring of n characters, and convert the n-gram to a hypervector, and then bundle those hypervectors of different n-grams together, and then we get a text hypervector, and then we check the Hamming distance of the text hypervector with a language hypervector stored in the memory. So this is how the flow. So we start with a library of hypervector for each character, and then this character will be copied and shifted based on their position in the n-gram. And so these are the hypervectors for the entire n-gram, and these hypervectors will be ORed to generate an n-gram vector. And then a bunch of n-gram vectors will be bundled using the majority check to generate a text hypervector. And then this text hypervector will be compared with the language hypervector. And about the memory, the Racetrack memory is a special type of memory. It's divided into banks. Each bank has 64 subarrays, and each subarray has 16 tiles. Each tile, again, has 16 domain block clusters, or DBC. And each DBC has 512 nanowires. Each nanowire can be used to store 32 bits in this example. So each nanowire actually has domains, domain blocks, and each domain block can store 1 bit. And the nanowire has 2 access points. Only the domain block underneath the access point can be read or write, read or write. And if we want to read or write other bits, we have to shift them up or down so that they're underneath the access point. And a special function of the Racetrack memory is that there's a special transverse read, so that we can read once, and then it can report how many number of ones, how many bits are 1 between the 2 access points. And then after knowing how many ones, then we can either XOR them together, we can add them together, we can do different in-memory computing. And the distance between the 2 access points is usually 5 bits. So totally we can operate on 5 vectors, basically, in one cycle. And also the Racetrack memory can be used as counters. So remember the number of bits between 2 access points are 5 bits. So these 5 bits are originally 0 in the state 0, 0, 0, and we will shift in ones. After they are 1, 1, 1, 1, we will then shift in zeros. So we can see that after 10 clock cycle, these 5 bits returns to its original state. And when these 5 bits on on the first nanowire are in the state 0, 0, 0, 1, this 1 is shifted into the second nanowire. So in this way, for the second nanowire, its state will repeat itself every 100 cycles. And we do this. So basically, we are using this to count base 10 counting. This is the base 10 counting. So then how do we use this for the language recognition? So the language vector, actually, the hypervector here are 8 kilobit long. So the size is 8192. And each DBC has 512 nanowires. So it can store like 512 bits. And we want to read the entire vector simultaneously and operate on them simultaneously. So we have to split the 80K bit into 16 nanowires. 16 DBCs. However, if we put all these DBC in the same subarray, because the subarray share the logic, read, write, and the in-memory computing logic, so we cannot operate on them. So we distribute them into 16 different subarrays. And so this is the first step. So from the library, we have the hypervector for each character, and then we copy, oh, I forgot to mention. So each actually tile is break into 3 groups. The first 9 DBC are actually used for item memory. And the 9th one is used for encoder. It is used basically for in-memory computing. And the last 6 are used for counters. So the character hypervector is copied to item memory, and during the copy, we also shifted them based on the position. And then each shifted character is then copied to the encoder. And after we have copied, so we're using 4 gram. After we copied 4 characters into the encoder, we put them between the AP, the access points, so we can operate on them. So we use 1 clock cycle to do the XOR for the 4 vectors simultaneously, 8 kilobit long vectors simultaneously. And the result of the XOR is used to control the counter. So if in that bit position it's a 1, then the corresponding counter on the nanowire will be incremented by 1. And we do this for every n-gram. So basically, at the end, what on the counter basically is how many number of 1s in each bit position when the n-gram are bundled together. So then we check the value, the content on each nanowire, right? On each counter. If the content is above threshold, which is probably half of the number of nanograms, then the result will be a 1. Otherwise, the result will be a 0. So in this way, we do the majority check using also 1 clock cycle. Okay. So in this way, we actually generate the text hypervector. And after that, we need to check the Hamming distance between the text hypervector and the language hypervector. So we copy both into, again, the item memory. And again, because they are 80K bit, so they have to break down into like 16 trunks. And then we use the XOR operation to find the XOR between these 2 vectors. And then we shift out this 8 kilobit vector one by one and count the number of ones in this vector. So then we get the Hamming distance. So this is the comparison of the runtime. The green bar shows the runtime of the Racetrack memory-based implementation, and the orange bar shows the implementation of using FPGA. And the upper and the lower chart gave the runtime for inference and training. So we can see the race-time memory is much faster than FPGA implementation. And this table compares the energy. So again, the Racetrack memory energy is only 50 nanojoule, and the CMOS is 2,000 something nanojoule. So it's much more energy efficient. So as a conclusion, the in-memory computing using the Racetrack memory is very efficient compared with CMOS and FPGAs, and it's a big opportunity for the hyperdimensional computing. And also the group is working on the DRAM-based implementation for the signal out. And I think the question should be deferred to the answers.
Okay, well, let's thank Chun.